Hey, it's the Phillies Talk Podcast, presented by Team Toyota. Corey and Jim with you as always. And Jim, the Phillies had a disappointing end to their homestand, dropped each of the last two series to the Dodgers and Reds as they get ready for their final West Coast trip of the season. We saw, all the positive vibes of the Phillies overtaking first place, but then by the end of the homestand, they were out of first place, and the Braves are charging hard. And it's going to be a difficult assignment for the Phils, no matter how easy their schedule is this final month and a half, huh?
Yeah, I don't buy that easy schedule stuff. You still got to play good. I don't care who you're playing against on that given night. And the Phillies have been so inconsistent against all opponents that, you still wonder if they can really put together a good run. They have to worry about themselves, not who they're playing. They have to play good themselves. The opponent doesn't dictate if you play well. You dictate if you play well. So, I mean, if you have confidence problems or doubts that they can put together a consistent run, I think they're reasonable. So just based on what we've seen for 4.5 months, but it was a tale of two homestands. I mean, you sweep the Mets to cap off an 8-game winning streak, the high point of the season. You move into first place, and then you end the homestand by falling out of first place with 2 straight series losses. The competition toughened up on the Phillies, and they didn't stay with the competition. 2 teams that can really hit, 2 teams that have, I would say some firepower in their rotations. Obviously with Scherzer and the Dodgers and that Tyler Mahle with the Reds having a really good year. Castillo pitched really well. They ended up beating him, but it's just, they didn't hit those final 6 games. They hit 1 game, and that was late after Matt Moore really gave them a lift with those 6 no-hit innings. They hit late in that game, and then they didn't hit again on Sunday. So, we'll see if they can go out to Arizona, a team that, like you mentioned, that is really scuffling. And they need to take it to Arizona. They need a series win at the very, very least, and it would even help if they could get more. Gibson and Suarez in the first 2 games, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, one of the disappointing facets of that Phillies-Red series was that it was another series where the Phils ended with Aaron Nola and had a chance to, win 2 out of 3 and just weren't able to get enough out of Aaron Nola, who has really made a routine this season of pitching like 5 or fewer innings. Pretty sure that he only has 9 quality starts this season in 24 tries. The Phillies have a losing record in his starts the last 2 seasons. He's running out of time, huh?
No doubt. I think they're 11-13 in his 24 starts. I mean, that just blows my mind. That's something when you come out of spring training, you're like, okay, Nola's going to keep you in games. You're going to win the majority of the starts. Wheeler's going to keep you in games. You're going to win the majority of his starts. And Eflin's going to keep you in games. You're going to win the majority of his starts. And, it hasn't happened. They probably have a losing record with all 3, I think, combined. But, with Nola, it's a real head scratcher. It's just one of those years. And I mentioned about the team. If you have doubts that they can put together a real consistent run and take over this division, I think it's reasonable given on the 4.5 months of track record we've seen. If you have those same doubts about Nola, it's reaching the point where I think it's becoming reasonable as well to have those doubts. And it's unfortunate because he is good. He's a good pitcher. He's been a good pitcher. It's just, he'll throw his 4-seamer. He doesn't throw a sinker as much. He's got a breaking ball and he's got a changeup. Doesn't seem like all 4 of them have been there on any given one night. Much like the lineup has never clicked all on the same night. So all those big guns in the lineup have never put it together at the same time. And it just doesn't seem like his repertoire has come together. And the overriding strength of that repertoire with Aaron Nola is his ability to put the ball in good spots, his ability to command 4 pitches. And that's just been absent this year. I often defer to Larry Anderson, who believes it's a mechanical issue, and Larry has forgotten more pitching than most of us know. Why haven't they fixed this mechanical issue if it is indeed a mechanical issue? There's so much talent there. I don't know why they can't get him out of this funk because, we've seen him have several dazzling starts. I mean, there's still something there. So It's incumbent on the pitcher and the pitching coach and everybody else that fancies themselves as a resource to Aaron Nola, to the pitching staff, to try to get him turned around so he can finish with 7 or 8 good ones. Because I really have my doubts if they can win the division with him not being a consistent winner in that rotation.
It's strange with Nola because if you look at his season numbers, other than like record and ERA, he's right in line with his career norms in every regard. I mean, his strikeout rate is better than his career average. His walk rate is better than his career average. His whip is the exact same as his career average. His opponents are hitting 245. It's not like they're hitting 300. Really, the only difference is the home run total, leaving too many pitches in the middle of the plate. But we've seen a lot of times with Nola this season that he'll get out to really fast starts, like 2 or 3 strong innings, and it looks like you're going to see vintage Nola that night, and then things kind of fall apart in the 4th or 5th.
Yeah, trouble putting hitters away with 2 strikes, trouble ending innings with 2 outs, and too many mistakes over the heart of the plate. Those are all the factors that have conspired against him. A lot of times it's one big hit, one big inning. Like you mentioned, a lot of times cruising and just hits a wall, can't get through the middle innings. And this guy was a quality start machine, and now he's only had back-to-back quality starts twice all season. Again, not sure it just might be one of those years. Who knows? But if he needs to turn it around over this final 6 weeks, and we all know he's had trouble the last 3 Septembers. So another reason to scratch your head about his ability to turn it around. But throw it all away. I just think he needs to flush this first 4.5 months and approach it as a 7 or 8 start season and just go out there and be the guy. Not, he's not going to be the guy to take you into the 7th or 8th. Just try to get six solid every time.
Are the Phillies going to be able to get 6 solid from Zach Eflin anytime soon? What's the latest on Eflin?
So he's had that knee tendonitis. He's been down for exactly a month now. And he's going to need a rehab start. When you're down that long, you're going to need to go face some competitive hitters in minor league setting. I get the feel that that's getting closer. He went with the team to Arizona. I thought there might be a chance he'd stay home and go to maybe Lehigh or Reading or Lakewood or one of those towns where the minor leagues are to maybe get some minor league innings. But apparently he's not ready for that. He went with them to Arizona. Threw a simulated game at the ballpark on Sunday. I would imagine he'll probably throw another one in Arizona. Today's Tuesday, maybe today, maybe Wednesday. And then maybe at that point, he'll have cleared enough progressions to be sent out on minor league rehab. He does appear to be getting closer. Says his knee feels good. Said his arm feels good. Sam Fold, the GM, last week said they still anticipate him being back in the month of August. So I would think that's still a possibility. We'll see what happens next few days in Arizona as he works it out again. It might be if he's going to throw another simulated game out there, it might be a good opportunity for Rhys Hoskins to stand in the batter's box and see some live pitching. He actually eligible to come off the DL or the IL today, Tuesday, but won't do that. Still needs a little more time on that injured left groin, needs to pass a few more hurdles, needs to run and kind of do some quick breaks defensively. But those are 2 guys that are hugely important. They need to get both of them back healthy, and not just healthy, but they need both be impact players for the final 7 or 8 weeks, or final 6 weeks. I'm sorry.
So as Zach Eflin remains out, that'll mean another start or 2 for Mr. 6 no-hit innings, Matt Moore, who was just, fantastic over the weekend. His best start as a Philly. It actually happened on the same night that a former Philly wound up throwing a no-hitter, Tyler Gilbert, against the Padres. But let's start with Matt Moore. What did you think of that outing from him?
Well, how could you not think it was anything but great? 6 no-hit innings. And, if you like stories of personal triumph, it was a great one too, because on Tuesday night, he was booed off the mound. He pitched in relief, 4 batters, 3 hits, 3 runs, lots of boos, walked off the mound with his head down. Had to be a terrible feeling. So, think about when we have a bad day at work. Anybody who cares about their job, you have a bad day at work, it sucks. It feels horrible. now do it in a public setting with 25,000 people watching and then voicing their displeasure. It makes for a pretty bad day. So it was really nice to see him have that outing on was it Saturday?
Yes.
Saturday, 6 no-hit innings, completely unexpected. But hey, Major League Baseball talent. Anything can happen when it all comes together for a player on that one day, and it all did. 6 no-hit innings. Might have been cool to see how he could have pushed it. I don't doubt that he could have pushed it a little bit, but he had been working in relief for a few weeks, so he didn't have his pitch count up. I asked Joe Girardi if there was an element of like, hey, we got 6 no-hit innings, 6 shutout innings from Matt Moore, who has struggled. I mean, in his previous 2 starts at the end of July, he'd given up 12 hits and 13, or was it 12 hits and 13 runs, I think, in 10 innings. So he had been pretty ineffective in his previous 2 starts. So I actually asked Girardi, was there an element of this, take the 6 innings and run with it, take it to the bank? And he said, no, we were protecting his health. I wonder deep down inside if Joe said, we got a rested bullpen. Let's get out of here ahead of the game. And whatever the reason was, it all worked nicely. Moore with an excellent start. And the bullpen really did a good job pitching. He finished with a 2-hitter. And it was really cool to listen to Matt Moore afterward. It was one of the more memorable post-game interviews I've ever been a part of, where he openly acknowledged that he hasn't had a good season. He openly acknowledged that it's crossed his mind that, I might be lucky to be here, like, alluding to the fact that people with 7 ERAs often get released. So he acknowledged all those. He asked when asked about coming out of that game, if he was upset being taken out of a no-hitter or if he tried to protest. He said, I got a 7 ERA. I don't have much of a leg to stand on if I'm going to try to argue with my manager. But he also said, it's about helping the Phillies win a ball game, not pitching a no-hitter. He acknowledged that it stung being booed 3 nights or 4 nights before, and how special it was to just pitch that well, help your team win, and hear such a positive reaction from the fans. So he really he did a great job. He said walking off that mound, he wished he could have bottled that feeling. And hats off to him. He needed it personally. The team needed it, and he did a heck of a job that day. Now he's, everybody in baseball, they talk about short memories. You play every day, you need a short memory. He needs to have a short memory. You need to have a short memory after a good one. You need to have a short memory after a bad one. You try to build on the positive vibe and the confidence and take it into, I guess, Friday night will it be Friday night in San Diego? I think. And try to, and try not to do too much. Try to have a quality start. Try to go out there, pitch 6 innings, keep your team in the ballgame. First commandment of starting pitching, thou shalt keep your team in the ballgame. That's how he needs to approach this next one. And he's, him going into that start really, I thought, put a focus on Zach Eflin and how much they really miss Zach Eflin, because he's sort of filling that spot right now. So they need Eflin back healthy. And if they can get some couple more good ones from Moore as Eflin is out, that would certainly help, because, you can kind of, through the mid-August heat and haze, you can almost see a rotation coming together. I know it has problems. I know they need Nola to pitch better. I know they need Eflin to get healthy, but when you look at Wheeler, Gibson, Ranger Suarez, Aaron Nola, and Zach Eflin, if they're healthy, if they're pitching well, if they're keeping you in games, that's not a bad 5-man rotation. I don't know if you agree, but I don't think it's a bad place to start games.
No, if they're all healthy, I mean, it's a better number 4 and number 5 than you'll find in most cities. I mean, there aren't many teams that go 5 deep. Even if you look at the best teams in baseball, the Giants, the Padres, the Dodgers. The Padres had to sign Jake Arrieta this week because they're so thin on starting pitching.
Unbelievable. He has not been good. And I like Jake personally. He was here. But he just, I just watch him pitch from that center field camera angle, and every sinker's up, and it gets tattooed. But it just tells you still the dearth of pitching, even on contending teams like the Padres who've had injury issues. Essentially, they're going to give him a start. When's he going to start? Like Wednesday night? Yeah, he's projected to start Wednesday, which would mean that he'd miss that Philly series. But these next 2 teams on the Phil schedule, this is their final West Coast trip of the season. They have 3 in Arizona,
against the 38-81 Diamondbacks, who have the worst record in baseball, and then 3 in San Diego. Both teams have like nothing in their rotation right now. The Diamondbacks, Merrill Kelly's on the COVID IL. The Phillies are going to miss Zach Allen, who pitched Sunday, so they'll see Madison Bumgarner, but the other 2 games are TBD for the Diamondbacks. And then going into the weekend against the Padres, they have Yu Darvish on the IL, Chris Paddock on the IL, Dinelson Lamet, who was like a swing man, he's on the IL. So they're really down to like Blake Snell, Joe Musgrove, who the Phillies will probably see in that series, Ryan Weathers, a guy who's not going to go deep into games, and then that's why they signed Jake Arrieta. So here go the Phillies, 3 in Arizona, 3 in San Diego. They actually have 7 of their next 12 games against the Diamondbacks, who lead the majors in losses. You got to go at least 5-2 in those 7, huh?
Absolutely, especially after not finishing this last homestand in good shape. I mean, you need to make some hay against bad teams. And like I said earlier, playing a bad team doesn't guarantee you're going to win. You still need to go out there and play like a good team. They need to do that. And then you look at what San Diego struggles, all of a sudden now they've let, the NL East back into the wild card race in a weird kind of way. I mean, the Phillies have a good road trip and make a good showing in Arizona. San Diego to finish it. They're right there in the wild card thick of it. You still want to win the division. You don't want to be stuck in that wild card game. Nobody does. But the wild card race all of a sudden there's a little added drama in that, no?
There is. I mean, the Padres lead the Reds by 1.5 games. The Reds are the closest, and they've been playing great baseball since the All-Star break. As the Phils get ready for the 3-game series in Arizona, they're 4.5 games behind the Padres for that second wild card spot. So yeah, if they take care of business in Arizona and then win those head-to-head matchups in San Diego, there's a real chance there. Plus, the Padres have 4 games left against the Braves next weekend, so that's another big series for the Phillies in both races.
Yeah, I mean, we thought that wild card was like a fait accompli. It's going to be in the West, and now it's wide open. Cincinnati's right there. And then the Phillies, they come home against Tampa Bay for a couple games, and that's never easy. They're a heck of a team, best record in the American League. So they got to play good against everybody. I know it's fun to look at the remaining schedule. You got to be a good team every night, regardless if you're playing a good team or a bad game. And to me, it always starts with starting pitching. Starting pitching's got to keep you in the games, and you got to get some timely hitting, which they really didn't get the back half of this last homestand, except for that one day. So, they need to really turn it around starting Tuesday night in Arizona.
Yeah, and they're hoping that Padres series, that, the Padres offense hasn't been like reignited by the return of Fernando Tatis Jr., who came back over the weekend and, of course, hit 2 homers in his first game back. I think he went 4 for 5, 2 homers, a double, 4 RBIs. It was the 3rd time this season that Tatis has come back from the IL and homered in his first game. So pretty big challenge for the Phils this weekend ahead, at least, from a pitching standpoint. They have Gibson, Suarez, and Wheeler going in Arizona, which means you'll have Nola, Moore, and Gibson going in San Diego. So for Aaron Nola, as he looks to bounce back, it's not an easy assignment. But I guess if Aaron Nola's on, it doesn't really matter who he's facing if he has all of his weapons on a given day. No
question. If he's executing, I mean, the example I would use for old people is the Green Bay Packers. And I don't even remember, this was before my time, but I watch NFL films, and they used to run this thing called the power sweep. You'd see Vince Lombardi on the chalkboard, a seam here or an alley here and seam out, and they would run it, right through this hole. And his feeling was, and everybody knew it was coming, right? Everybody knew the power sweep was coming, but they'd always get big chunks of yardage out of it because the Green Bay Packers executed that power sweep so well. It's like a good bunt play. The whole stadium could know it could be coming, but if you execute it the right way, same thing with pitches. If you execute your pitches, you can stop good hitting. So, yeah, Aaron Nola can turn it around just like that. Anytime, if he just executes his pitches. I mean, he's always been a guy that has really made his living on the edges. He's made his living down in the zone. He's made his living with good movement. Hasn't really had those components in one game, but maybe 3 times this year. If he gets on a roll with those 3 components, executes, he'll pick up a big chunk of yardage, just like the Green Bay Packers power sweep.
Got to matriculate that ball down the field. Well, that's going to do it for this Phillies Talk podcast. He's Jim Salisbury. I'm Corey Seidman. That'll do it.